It's time for GrizzBeat, a full court press of highlights, insights, news, and scoops covering the Grizzlies and the NBA. Catch up each week on the latest Grizz buzz with regional and national insiders locked in on our squad. Running point from Grind City Media Studios, our host, Jarvis Greer.
The stretch run. We are right here at 191 Beale Street. The Memphis Grizzlies are coming off the All-Star break. It is over. Rearview mirror, time to look ahead. The Grizzlies, wow, they are 28 games from the finish of the regular season. A lot of work has been done early on, but now it's time for the rubber to hit the road as the Grizzlies try to hang on to the 2 spot in the Western Conference. They are right now 36-18, just a half game up on Denver. We're going to talk about that and everything else for you today as we get ready for that stretch run. Joining us here in our studios at Grind City Media, we have Greg Gaston, Sr., I might add, who is, of course, one of the stalwarts at Sports 56. Great having you in, Greg, as usual.
Great to be here. Don't call me senior, though. Don't age me at all, please. This does it. Well,
hey,
no.
man, I'm missing some of that, so we're all in that boat. And also joining us, as usual, is the guru of Grind City Media himself, the great Michael Wallace, as my sons call him. Of course, you're going with the dome look up there, so you don't even have to worry about that.
I'm losing the Hair Olympics in this race right here, man, when it comes to that, but it's all good.
But you
Mine
got the
is
sage,
intentional.
though. Look at the sage, got the gray working in there. I like that.
A little bit salt and pepper. It's time.
Yeah, it is time to get it done, and time to take a look at. We will take one quick look at what just happened on All-Star Weekend with the Memphis Grizzlies. Of course, during the All-Star break on All-Star Weekend, we had Team Zach Edey and Jalen Wells in the rookie games that weekend. They won Friday's NBA Wide Rising Stars Challenge. Zach Edey in the post and Jalen Wells out on the wing. Jaren Jackson Jr. started on Team Kenny in Sunday's NBA All-Star game. Got a couple of block shots and hit a couple of jumpers. Desmond Bane, wow, he's going to, he attended his jersey retirement ceremony. That's coming up tonight, rather, at TCU. That's going to be a big thing for Des Bane. But a good showing, I think, for the weekend for the guys in Beale Street Blue with Team Zach and Jaren in the All-Star game, of course, Jaren Jackson Jr. But we had Devin Walker of Grind City Media. He's the one you always see out there with the camera or the microphone. He had a chance to talk to Tripp at the All-Star game after it was over. Here's a little bit of that conversation.
All right, we're here with 2-time All-Star Jaren Jackson. You just wrapped up your second All-Star game. I have to ask you, like I always do.
How do I feel?
How do you feel about playing your second All-Star game?
Well, I feel mad that we lost, and I'm ready to go home and get back to Memphis so I can see my teammates and get back to the season.
I want to ask you, you had your whole family, your mom's right there, your whole family's here. How special was that to have your family kind of with you on this second All-Star journey?
It's a dream. I mean, if you know me, you know I'm rolling deep. My whole family, my whole team, all my friends. So, yeah, it was special for them to, to see their emotions behind everything. I mean, this is really for them at the end of the day.
What was your favorite part about this All-Star weekend? I saw you were busy. You're doing a lot of appearances, a lot of podcasts, a lot of yapping, a lot of basketball stuff. What was your favorite part of it?
The interview with Taylor was good. Going to the Rising Stars was great. I mean, I think everything was great, bro, to be honest. Like, and seeing Dwayne, really seeing Dwayne and doing the pod with him and CJ, and that was beautiful, bro. That was crazy. And line.
2 more things. I've seen your outfit the last 2 days. They have like a pocket on it. Mm-hmm. Is there a reason for the pocket on the fit, or like how do we break it down?
Baba's the reason. Black designer. He put it together and it's great. So he's the reason, and that's all we're gonna say about it because it's just so fire. Like, oh my gosh, Tony did a great job too. It's a team effort around here.
All right, last thing. Message for the fans. We go back home. Second part of the season. Message for the Grizzlies fans.
Get tickets. It's always the same message. I'm about to go home. I can't wait to go home. I miss home. Let's go.
Hey, wait.
Oh my gosh. All right. Love you. Oh my God. Okay, great. Grizz Media.
We're here. We're signing out. Devin Walker from All-Star Weekend. We gone. Jansen.
Yeah, we're gone.
We're gone.
Always good when Mama shows up. You got to love that attitude, though, from Jared. He's ready to come back home and get ready for this stretch run of the season, Greg. And that fit, though. He was wearing that long, New York long checkerboard coat that he came in. Somebody said it looked like a tablecloth. But, hey, man, when you got the money and you like 6'11", 7 foot, you can wear what you want when you got All-Star by your name.
He loves fashion, makes the trips to Paris, I'm sure Milan in his future, and New York, and it's going to be a part of his future. But what a great representative, representing this city, this organization, this whole community. He's so astute. He's just an intelligent guy. And to have him wearing the Grizzlies garb, wherever it may be, the fact that he did all these podcasts, as he talked about, he was mic'd up. I thought that was a great segment there. He made himself available to everybody. So to have that guy represent you, it's hard to beat. And then you mentioned the youngsters. To have Zach Edey and Jalen Wells, who are starting as rookies for the Memphis Grizzlies and got to play in the Rising Stars games, win and advance and play in one of those All-Star games. I don't like the format, but the fact that they were playing again Sunday night as more representatives for the Grizzlies, I think that's fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, I thought all in all, you had 3 Grizzlies represented on the main stage, right? You also had Yuki and Armando Bacot do some things in the G League level of the All-Star weekend as well, too. So it was all in all, it was a great experience for the Grizzlies. And I think, to a man, they all appreciated that stage that they were on. Jaren can say, you know what, man, ho-hum, it's the All-Star weekend. I have to do so many things. But he told me very early on when that first All-Star ballot voting came out, he was like, listen, if I make it again, I'm going to appreciate this because you just never know how many more opportunities you're going to get. So
good point.
Kudos to those guys, man. They represented the Grizzlies well, and now they're all ready to get back to work.
Yeah, and you mentioned like there was 4 hustle players that were in, and I don't know what they call the game that they were in. Yuki Pereira, who played a couple of 10 days with the Grizzlies last year. Armando Bacot was on the winning team, and it's just like. This is it's a solid organization top to bottom when you look at the players and how they're trying to develop the players, to come up to the big. Yuki, of course, has, gotten in some spot minutes and he's a fan favorite, but, some of the other guys have a chance to, really push the guys that are ahead of them. And of course, Gigi had to play on the hustle last year before getting his call up. So the team is trying to do what it can to get guys prepared. And as we get prepared for this stretch run, you want to take a look at just what the Grizzlies have to do. The upside, of course, is the Grizz ranking the top 7 in the NBA in both offensive and defensive ratings. They're second in the West right now. They're top 4 overall. The downside, though, they're ranked 29th in opposing points off turnovers and 28th in opposing second chance points. And a lot of that has to do with the rebounding, and some of the turnovers has to do with focus. Bottom line, though, the NBA's they're facing the 3rd toughest schedule coming up in the last 28 games here. The opponents, their average percentage of wins is .533. So, it's going to be a tough stretch run for the Grizzlies. And here's where we're going to find out if this team has the makeup Greg Gaston to make that work.
Look, they did a lot of damage in their first 54 games in a positive way, sitting second place in the Western Conference. I like a lot of things they've done. I want to see more consistency from this team. I want to see more physicality from this team. They will be facing some better opponents. They'll play Cleveland twice, including this Sunday. But we haven't seen the big 3 play a ton of games together, meaning Ja, Dez, and Tripp. We're going to see more of that now. I don't think you'll see as much load management coming down to the final 28 games. So I'm excited about what they can do in the last stretch.
Well, the one who has to be excited but also under control is the Grizzlies head coach and Taylor Jenkins, and he's got his take on just what the Grizz priorities are coming up in this stretch run of the season.
Challenge the guys to get the mental, physical break that they need and come back and just continue to stack days. We know about our competitiveness, our togetherness, the mentality really getting better, identifying things, trends, offensively, defensively that we got to clean up and shore up, for the long run. The road's only going to get harder from here, so we're going to come up with that mentality of, the trust that we need every single day, the edge that we got to have every single day. So, but I remind the guys, a lot of basketball, sucks, to lose the last game going on the break, but don't forget the first 54 games we've been playing a lot of good basketball. Let's identify things we got to clean up, and then Wednesday when we have practice, let's lock in.
These are the type of teams down the rest of the way. You guys have the 3rd toughest schedule coming back from the break. That mentality has to be important. How do you guys continue to execute when so many pieces are now coming together?
just sticking to our principles, really. Our coaches emphasize a lot the little things that we got to do. And earlier in the season, when we were doing those things, we were steamrolling through teams. So we can get back to, our 3 Ps, as Coach would say. And, just taking experiences from these tougher games with more physical teams that are good at not allowing paint touches on drives. I feel like, if we look over the film and figure out some things, I feel like we definitely can get back to steamrolling.
Yeah, and Michael Wallace trying to get back, like Gigi was talking about there. You got to, first of all, you got to ramp yourself back up, get rid of the, wherever you were, Cancun, Turks and Caicos, or wherever they were. But the players know that everybody's looking at them saying, "Are you guys real, or is this like fake?" That you got this record that you have, but it's been knocking off the bottom feeders in the league. And so now they're going to face the music here in this stretch run.
Yeah, they're definitely going to face the music. And when you look at the way that the Grizzlies conducted themselves over the first, what is it, 54 games or whatever, you look at this record and you say, okay, at the All-Star break, would you take the Grizzlies in second place in the West, with the wins that they have? Is that, would you take it without any other, clarifications or any other, context? And you would say, absolutely, you would take it. But the encouraging thing is that this team still has so many other things that it can get better at and improve at. And I still feel like through 54 games, I haven't seen a sustained, best effort from the Grizzlies. I've seen spots of it. The Boston game certainly stood out in some other games, but I haven't, and what they've done at home is remarkable so far. But I still know this team can get to another gear.
Yeah, when you're talking about getting to a lot of that deals with the star, John Morant. He has got to be more consistently on the court for this team to reach the ceiling that we all hope and we all believe that it can reach. And I think it's still that he hasn't played more than 5 games in a row this season. But, he's gotten a chance to get away from it a little bit here, get some rest for that shoulder that he had surgery on, and also that dislocated hip. I still don't understand how he's playing with that, where he got and I don't know how the league let that happen against the Lakers early in the season. But, he's got a chance to heal up a little bit. He knows that the spotlight's on him now. It's a chance now for John Morant to step up and lead this team. Now, if you're hurt, you're hurt. And people say, oh, he makes so much money. He's the 3rd highest paid player on the team. Dez and Jaren make more money and Jaren's about to really get paid. He's still, though, they say the best ability is availability, and we hope that John Morant will be able to stay on the court down here till late in the season.
This team only goes as far as Ja takes them. Now, I think Tripp has had the best season and thus the All-Star appearance, and you need to continue to get that type of production. But Ja is the star. Ja is the one that's going to elevate you in the postseason. He needs to be on the court. Hopefully he can stay healthier than he's been. And like I said earlier, with Ja, Tripp, and Dez all playing together with the other pieces they have, this is a great opportunity. To Michael's point, you wouldn't trade in the position they're in right now. Obviously, it'd be great to be ahead of Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City's playing out of their minds. You're sitting in second place. You've done a lot of damage, again, in a good way to this point. Now you need to ratchet it up another notch if you're going to make a legitimate run at the Western Conference Championship.
Yeah, what we want to see, Michael, is the way that they played in that Boston game up in TD Garden. That game was a fabulous game. It's like everybody was hitting on all cylinders, and that was also before you got Gigi and Vince Williams back from injury. So now those guys look like they're healthy now. Gigi is basically giving you double figures every time he goes out there in the court. Vince Williams is starting to look like the guy that we thought that he would be at the end of the season. You've got your pieces now. Will they fit together enough? And you've seen Taylor Jenkins ramp up the minutes of Ja, Dez, and Jaren as they've gone along here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it starts, is it going to be enough? And when you look at the Western Conference standings and where the Grizzlies are right now in the Western Conference standings, they're a half a game up on Denver, right? Denver's the hottest team in the league right now, and they're only a half a game behind you. So they're coming up on your heels. They've won 8 straight. They have a tough schedule as well, too. We talked about the Grizzlies having the 3rd toughest schedule. Oklahoma City's run away with it for the most part. But when you look at 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, those 5 teams right there are only separated by, 4.5 games. And when you look at that group, the Grizzlies haven't fared well against those guys. They're 1-1 against Denver, hadn't seen Jokic. 1-3 against Houston, 1-2 against the Lakers, and 0-2 against the Clippers. So you're ahead of them, but you haven't proven that you can beat them. And if they get hot, then that can be a problem right there. So, as we set up, our takes on what this means, that you have to have that sort of framework to go from.
And you talk about setting up our takes. It is time for the latest segment here on Grind City Media and GrizzBeat. It is the 24-second validation. This is when we have 24 seconds to try to prove our point as to what is what. And the question on the 24-second validation is, how can the Grizzlies, based on the current standings, the team you least want to see the Grizzlies face in the first round of the playoffs, either the Clippers, the T-Wolves, the Mavs, the Kings, Warriors, what team in there would be the one that you would least like to see? And we will start the clock. Get you ready there. CJ behind the glass, get the clock ready. Greg Gaston is first up. Greg, you have 24 seconds on the clock now.
I'm worried about the Clippers. I don't want to see the Clippers at full strength with Kawhi Leonard playing like Kawhi Leonard's played in the past. With what they have in the middle, they have physicality. Memphis has not really played that type of brand of basketball this year. Obviously, James Harden, a wild card, but a future Hall of Famer. You got him leading the way. Powell has been one of the best and most consistent outside shooters in the NBA. I love their coach in Ty Lue.
24 seconds. You got it. You got all the points out there.
You got all the points in there.
All right,
man.
I'm going to take it this next one here. Okay. 24 seconds on the clock. You ready? I'm ready. Let's go for it. I got to agree with Greg Gaston. The Clippers are the team that I most have to look out for because you got the Claw getting back into physical shape. He's ready to go. I'd kind of discount that last game. The Grizzlies are 0-2 against the Clippers. The last game going into the All-Star break, that was almost like a schedule loss. They started out hot, had an 11-point lead, did Memphis, and then I think they saw my ticket for Cancun is here, and they just checked out. But I think the Clippers. Let's go with Michael Wallace. Michael Wallace, what do you think? Who is the toughest matchup for the Grizzlies down the stretch for the playoffs? Clock starts now.
You guys are both prisoners of the moment. Because you just saw them lose to the Clippers, you guys say the Clippers. I'm going to say a team that's already beat the Grizzlies in the playoffs, the Lakers. You do not want to see that Lakers team in the first round because if they're where they are right now, in that 6 area, you can get 3. It'll be a 3-6 first-round matchup. You don't want to see Luka Doncic and LeBron James finally getting their system together to get you in the first round. You don't want that if you're the Grizzlies.
All right, and he got it before the buzzer went off. I'm hearing you. That's why he's a professional.
Proven veteran.
We call him a professional. He is such a pro. Okay, and now we're going to, you know what? You ready for another segment here?
Sure.
That just started. That's a really good. That is the segment that's taking over the world right now, and it has to do with the Sonic Mailbag. And when we have the Sonic Mailbag, it is the question of the week. And for the question of the week, the Sonic Mailbag, we have to go behind the glass to none other than CJ, who's going to roll with it right now. CJ?
Oh, yeah! Sonic Grizzlies Mailbag question of the week. Remember, everybody, if you see BLJ on the streets and BLJ stops you, ask him a question so he can pick your answer, give you a $5 gift card to Sonic, where you can get all types of deliciousness. They got great classic shakes. I'm a prisoner of the moment, Double G. I love me a Sonic Blast. Give me that chocolate chunk brownie blast 10 days out the week, damn it. That's what I need. Wash it down with a chili cheese coney dog. You know how I do it, Mike Wallace. BLJ, what's the question this week, baby?
Yo, it's your best hype man in the NBA, BLJ. You already know what time it is. It's Grizz's birthday party, superhero time. And I have my fan right here. Give the people your name.
Yolanda Askew.
Miss Askew, how you feeling?
Very good.
That is good. Guess what? We got JT in the background. This is Grizz's question of the week. What is your question?
My question is, how can the Grizzly team stay at this rate of play?
She wants to know how the Grizzly player can stay at this rate of play. We are currently at number 2. How can we continue to stay number 2? You already know what to do. Ah!
How can the Grizzlies stay number 2? Well, I think it starts with taking care of the Pacers coming up in their game coming up here on Thursday night. You got to go out there with a renewed sense of, hey, look, this is not like experimentation time now. We've had the offense, you got the new hurry, move fast, everybody moving parts and all that. They've gotten used to that now. You've had your younger guys that are coming off injury have had a chance to get acclimated. You got to hit the ground running. Greg S.
Play with a sense of urgency. I know there's still 28 games to go, but that's not that many. You got Denver breathing down their necks. They've won 8 in a row, as Michael alluded to earlier. Play with a sense of urgency, hopefully consistency with the team and the stars, playing more than not playing and playing together. And then physical. Start to play a little bit more physical. If they can, I think they can have a great chance and an opportunity to beat some of these teams that we talked about in the West. They have feasted on the East, continue to do that right out of the gates. You have Indiana, Orlando, and then a tough one with Cleveland, the first of 2 with the Cavs. You need to take advantage of beating those teams in the East as well. But again, stay the course, be consistent, some sense of urgency.
Michael, he talked about being physical. You know, Zach Edey, they've started to feed him a little bit more in the post. And at times, he looks like he's ready for it, and other times, he looks like a rookie. But he is going to have to really stand out here, I think, as we get down to the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about, as the question said, you know, what do you got to do to stay at this rate of play, stay at number 2? And, you know, you have to have your – Zach Edey's a good role player. But you got to have Ja, Dez, and Jaren available. Ja's missed, you know, I mean, you play 54. He's missed about 20 games. That's not a rate of being able to sustain your best games, right? Now, when you look around you, yes, Kawhi's missed a lot of games. The Lakers have gone through a roster transition. He's not the only one that's missed games. But for the Grizzlies to be able to say, hey, we're number 2, and this is our year to try to go win it all, you got to have those 3 guys available. If not for, I mean, it's 28 games left. They got to be on the floor for 25 of them.
And, you know, a lot of people talk about, the Grizzlies, they got too young. They got 2 rookies in the starting lineup, and, you know, they don't have playoff experience. They got 3 guys that have playoff experience, right? Ja, Dez, and Jared. Your core has playoff experience. They also have scar tissue, you know, taking one on the chin from a Golden State team that went on to win the title. You know, dropping a series against the Lakers when you didn't want to play them, but you were hurt. You know, a lot of your guys were out in that series at the end. And that's one reason why Ja does not like the Lakers. He had 40 points in that game that the Grizzlies got embarrassed in. It's up to the core, as you mentioned, Michael Wallace. The other guys are ancillary players. You know, they will come up. Usually your younger guys and your secondary guys, they play better at home than on the road. If you can stay in that second spot, you give yourself home court advantage, at least to the Western Conference Finals. If you make it that far, I think you have a better chance to do that. But it all starts coming up on Thursday night with the game at the Pacers. Now, the Grizzlies did take on the Pacers once this season. That was back in December. And the Pacers rank 6th in the NBA right now in assists. Wow, 28.9. That's really good. That means they are looking for everybody that they can look for, and they're hitting the shots. They're 9th in scoring at 116 points a game. They post the league's 3rd best record since January at 14-5. So it's a pretty hot club, but they have lost 6 of the last 7 to the Grizzlies. And if you look at that, that means they even lost a couple to the Grizz when they were, or at least one to the Grizz when the Grizz didn't have anybody last year. So that includes a 136-121 loss on December 1st here at FedEx Forum. And as you take a look at some of that video, you see that, you know, Dez and the guys, they pretty much had their way with Memphis. This is one thing I think this was the game when Jaren Jackson Jr. really started to say, look, I can take over a game. I can really, really show what I can do thanks to, you know, the year that he had previously. And then you got Ja doing Ja things, and now you got Brandon Clark back to being, we've seen the BC bounce here much more lately. This is a team, though, they play really well up there in Indiana at their field house. It's been 3 different names since, what's it now, Michael Wallace?
Man, it's always going to be Banker's Life, but it's Bainbridge.
It was Conseco when it started. The FedEx Forum, the architects, they basically modeled FedEx Forum off of that building. But it's a tough place to play, and they love the Pacers in Indiana.
Hey, I go way back to Market Square Arena, different building.
Different building.
Way back.
I go back to the ABA when they were playing.
Exactly. But watching those highlights, I noticed several times Miles Turner out of position. And that's why I think Jaren Jackson Jr. can feast on Indiana. I'm not afraid of their front line. They're not afraid of the front line. They have obviously individual studs. Pascal Siakam, great player. Tyrese Halliburton is an all-star. I don't think they're as strong as their parts. The sum is not as strong as their parts. Obviously, they've been hot and they're a good team, but I don't think as highly as some other people do.
Well, when you look at the Pacers, and when I go back to that game, the Grizzlies put up 136. That's when we realized the mantle had shifted, because last year the Pacers were the ones scoring 130, 140 a game and all of those kind of things. But one thing that also stood out, that was also one of the first moments where you saw Jalen Wells get put on a prime guy, and he was put on Tyrese Halliburton. and shut them down for the most part. And you were like, okay, this rookie is going to be a part of the rotation, right? This is December 1, barely a month into the season. So, you know, the Grizzlies have only gotten stronger in some areas since then. They've had a great run against Eastern Conference team. I think they've won 12 out of their last 13 against the East. But now they're seeing 3 of the top 6 in the East coming right out of this break. So it's going to be a tough matchup. As you said, they're really, really tough to play in Indiana.
One quick thing. Do you think that Vince Williams will still be on this minutes restriction, or they're going to amp him up a little bit more since he's had a week off now? He played 20 minutes, I think, in the last game before the break. He was on 15, 18 minutes. Do you think they'll ramp him up a little bit more and he'll get some Tyrese Halliburton looks?
Well, he didn't play against the Clippers, and that was the second night of a back-to-back. So that indicates to me that they're still going to proceed with caution. There's a back-to-back coming out of the break. Thursday against Indiana, Friday against Orlando. So there's probably a chance he won't play on one end of that back-to-back. So we'll see what it means, but he's certainly gearing up towards being a key piece of the rotation.
All right, and talking about rotation, we are going to rotate now to a break. When we come back from the break, we will have much more on around the NBA, a lot of things you'll want to pay attention to. That's when we come back on GrizzBeat.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Memphis Cat is back with his Heaven on Earth tour.
I tried to be incognito, but thanks to Shannon Sharp's loud mouth, the gig is up.
February 22nd in the FedEx Forum.
In my spare time, I infiltrate the Illuminati. Look for their secrets. Run back. Tell y'all.
Don't miss this year's most talked about comedy icon live. He's back with brand new material, an unmatched wit, and an electrifying performance. Get tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance, to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Hey, Grizz fam, the Memphis Grizzlies Raise the Rim initiative is back, and we want your help finding deserving communities in need of brand new outdoor basketball systems. Just visit Grizzlies.com before March 15th to nominate a Memphis school, community center, or nonprofit that you feel deserves an upgrade to their facility. And hey, let's raise the rim. Raise it.
Welcome back to GrizzBeat. Hey, listen, the Grizzlies are ready for the stretch run on the other side of this week. They got a 3-game road trip coming up. But before we get to the Grizzlies and them getting back to business, the NBA is always in business. They don't never stop. It keeps going. And we get to our favorite part, one of our favorite parts of the show, where we go around the league. Now, among the headlines that happened over at NBA All-Star Weekend in San Francisco was LeBron James not playing in Sunday's game. Obviously, he had some issues that he was dealing with from an injury standpoint, but he didn't let, or the league didn't let everyone know that he was not going to play. So there was some controversy there. But he also supplied some comedy. Check this clip out right here.
It was me, Wilt Chamberlain, Bob Cousy, Dr. J, the guy that was talking before. Yeah, that was my first All-Star game back in '68, I think. No, it was me, Allen Iverson, Vince Carter, Kobe, Shaq, Timmy D, KG, all those guys, like all of them. And my first one was in Denver. That was my first All-Star game, yeah.
And see what's funny about that, and I'm gonna have our director replay it real quick. Check how long it took Luka to realize that LeBron was BSing. It took a few names before Luka had to recognize, this might not be true. Play it again.
It was me, Wilt Chamberlain, Bob Cousy, Dr. J, the guy that was talking before, yeah. That was my first All-Star game back in '68, I think. No, it was.
He had to go Luka and Dr. J. I mean, he had to go Wilt, Dr. J, and all those guys, man.
I thought he was going to call George Mikan name out there or something.
And you know what, though? When you think about it, LeBron James is in season 22, age 40 years old. He still continues to do it at this high level. Greg, when you think about where his name fits alongside those greats that he played, I mean, he's got to be right up there, obviously. Statistically aside, in terms of impact on the game, LeBron's lasting impact on the game will be what?
Well, let me just say this. It's going to feel weird when he finally retires and he's not playing in these All-Star games. Mm-hmm. But his, look, it's a lasting impact for everybody. I mean, there's probably not a person now on earth that hasn't seen LeBron James playing an All-Star game. He's been around so long. So you could joke about that, but we have watched this guy playing an All-Star game after All-Star game after All-Star game. That's why this was disappointing, because I know he cherishes it. When you stop cherishing an All-Star selection, something's wrong. The NBA has a problem. That's not LeBron James. So when I heard the news that he wasn't playing, and the fact that it wasn't revealed earlier to get another player into the game, I was very disappointed. Now, Michael, I don't know all the details. So I'm not going to sit here and blast LeBron, but I don't like it one bit at all that this guy probably knew a couple of days earlier. The NBA doesn't announce anything. They don't replace him, and he doesn't play in the game.
And the same was the case with Anthony Edwards too.
And I didn't know that
he was
either.
there and he didn't play. I guess the scuttlebutt was that he came down with some kind of cold or some kind of issue that kept him off the floor. But again, these are guys that are, especially when you talk about snubs, they're guys that still were deserving. Norman Powell's name came up as a guy. Domantas Sabonis is another guy that could have easily have gotten there and played, and you still could sit out if you're LeBron and Anthony Edwards and give other guys a chance. That's why I'm an advocate of extending these All-Star rosters to 15 as opposed to 12.
I've been saying it for 10 years.
It will
Absolutely.
be easy.
You know, with LeBron not telling anybody he wasn't going to play until like the very end, it's like, man, like you said, Sabonis definitely should have been in the game. Norman Powell, of course, the numbers that he's put up. But in the grand scheme of things, LeBron's going to have a statue raised in Cleveland, Miami, and he'll probably get 2 or 3 in Los Angeles. and that's not even counting at outside crypto.com. He'll probably have one outside several movie theaters. Whoever did the remake of the Monstars and all that business. You know,
Space Jam.
Yeah, Space Jam.
Yeah.
LeBron is LeBron, and some people say LeBron runs the league. Mm-hmm. And to a certain extent, he's got the power, and people are going to remember LeBron for that more so.
Well said, yeah,
than
absolutely.
No, he definitely has the influence. Right. He has the influence, and he has the ability to basically create the narrative and set the narrative. He would have still been honored the same way had he come out and admitted it. So somewhere along the line, the league dropped the ball with this. And, you know, there's a lot of controversy the league is facing right now because of the All-Star game and how it was played and portrayed and how it was broadcast. But one thing that you can't criticize is the talent and the creativity of one Matt McClung. 3-time, first time in NBA All-Star history, a guy has won 3 straight slam dunk contests. Take a look at some of the highlights from Matt McClung's night, Saturday night.
Gotta catch it first. Buddy. Yes. Oh my gosh. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Matt. He said, I'm here. Wow. He said, I'm here. Yeah. On the back. It's McClung. Yep. Oh, no. Man. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Let's just see what, you know, as he's spinning. Spin, young man. Oh, no! Vince Carter, you are being challenged for the greatest dunker in dunk history. You are being challenged right now. That is here for it. It's something in the water here in Oakland. Oh, wow. I think he's going to put it behind his back. First time. Because we couldn't see it, but he you know what he did. He hit the front of the rim. He jumps over and hits the front of the rim.
And see, what you saw right there was just artistry, creativity. I don't know if Michael Jordan could do that. I don't know if Dr. J could do any of those things. We've seen the dunk evolve to this level. Now, Matt McClung has never played or rarely played in an NBA game. He wore the jersey of the Orlando Magic, but he's not an NBA player. He's had a two-way deal, but he's not an NBA player. So there's something to be desired there. But what that dunk contest did was it brought out the stars contemplating whether they should be involved in the dunk contest. Ja Morant sent out a social media tweet right there. Matt might make me decide to dunk again. And right after that, you saw the fire right there. Zach LaVine thinking I might have to do it again. He had one of the most fantastic dunk performances as well, too. And then you had more guys. If you do it, I'll do it with you. Responding to, as you said, Giannis Antetokounmpo responding to Ja Morant.
Yeah.
Now, guys, Jarvis, I'll start with you. Are these guys teasing us, or are they basically setting us up for an epic all-star dunk championship next year, 2026, in Intuit Dome in Los Angeles, the league's most brand new arena?
I don't know. There's this. How do I say? Is this like, which girl do you want to take to the prom? The one that's going to tease, or the one that you know what's going to happen once the prom's over? I think it's more on the tease category. I'm just going to have to say it. What are you laughing at, Greg? You were in that position, I think, several times there. How many proms did you go to? Broke a heart or two, I'm sure. That maybe not all be broke, but anyway, it's like, hey man, this it brought a lot of eyeballs out when Ja Morant said, yeah, this guy, the little man always will win the dunk contest if he's any good. Going back to Spud Webb. You got, a big guy going in, now Zach LaVine is in that perfect size, 6'7", 6'8", who can do all those things that he can do. But if Ja Morant were to get into it, all eyes would be on Morant because he's got a 42, 40, I don't even know what his vertical leap is. And he can do so many things with the ball. He's a great in-game dunker. How good of a dunker as far as putting on the show. The only thing about it is, it's like so many things are like Mac McClung. He's got to go out and practice this stuff and do this stuff. And if he gets hurt, Mac McClung, you're not really worried about it because he's not in the main show.
Sure.
But if Ja goes out and does it and turns an ankle, or if Zach LaVine, breaks an eyeball on the rim or something other like that, then it's a problem. You can't go out here and jumping over, taxi cabs and Ubers and all that other stuff and doing all these things in today's NBA.
Well, I will say this before I toss to you, Greg. Like, it's never happened in dunk contest history where a star got hurt dunking and couldn't resume. So I don't want to let that be the reason why these guys shouldn't do it. I think there's more reason because they owe it to the game and the fans to do it more so than not to do it. But Greg, is it a tease or is it a troll?
Well, let me first of all say, Mac McClung, I think he lives in the league office and they dust him off every year. And it's good that they have him because it makes that dunk contest electric. We may get an overload of Mac after winning it 3 straight years. But yes, as you said, Jarbo, Ja and LaVine and some of these guys that have had success, have won dunk contests or have been known as the best dunkers in the league. It would be great, but this is a tease. It's a 365-day tease. It's easy to say it on the night of the dunk contest and go, oh yeah, maybe we'll get back and do it next year. There's a million reasons why it doesn't make sense. Remember, Ja went into this season saying that he wasn't going to dunk that much or whatever.
He wasn't going to dunk at all.
He wasn't going to dunk at all. He's dunked a few times. But obviously because of safety reasons. As Michael said, you're not probably going to get hurt. It hasn't happened. But Mac McClung could have easily tripped on the top of the hood of that car and went down hard. And like you said, what are the ramifications? What's he missing? I don't know what he's doing now. He might be working at 7-Eleven. I don't know. With Ja Morant, you know what that means?
That's a problem.
With the money and the resources they put into him, there is no way he is coming back to dunk in a competition like that. It's just not going to happen.
Man, if Dominique could do it, if Dr. J could do it, if Michael Jordan can do it, if Vince Carter can do it. Stop me when I get to a guy who's not a Hall of Famer or a superstar. If all of those guys could do it, some of these guys
did
who
LeBron
are already
do it?
making
Did
LeBron never did it. And he's the one
could.
guy. He's the one guy that falls in line with this new wave of superstars.
Different world.
He
in
teased
25,
too.
isn't it, Michael?
10 years ago, he teased that he would do it, and he never did. He never
did.
Because what brought him out was when he saw. I want to say it was Aaron Gordon. No, it was Dwight Howard. When Dwight Howard had the Superman
case.
Yes, and LeBron was like, all right, I might have to throw my hat in the ring, but he never did it. And again, that doesn't take away from his legacy. It won't take away from Ja's legacy if he never does it. But it's something that we can always wonder, what if? What we don't have to wonder what if is who we have as our stretch run NBA superlatives over this last sprint to the NBA playoffs. we're going to tell you who we think or who our top players and teams are to watch. And I'll go start off with mine right here. This is our stretch run superlatives. The stretch run MVP for me is going to be Nikola Jokic. I feel like the way that he's gotten Denver right now, they're just starting to turn the corner. People say statistically this is his best year already, right? And he already won 3 other MVPs. So from now until the end of the season, he's going to be the MVP at this point to me over these next 2.5 months. My stretch run coach of the year, a familiar face right here, JB Bickerstaff. 3 games over 500 he has these Pistons. They were absolutely putrid last year. And they're a team that's going to make the playoffs if they keep up at this pace. And they might even avoid the play-in. They might get one of these top 6 seeds in the East if they keep playing like that. My stretch run sleeper, the Clippers. We saw why. Kawhi Leonard is there now. They just made a trade. They signed Ben Simmons off the waiver wire. They have some other guys. Drew Eubanks gives them another big, and they still have some other guys. Patty Mills just got there as well, too. They have some depth to go with these guys, their frontline guys now. And my stretch run contender that's fading fast, the Houston Rockets. They went from number 2 in the West. Now everyone's passing them. The Grizzlies passed them. The Nuggets passed them. The Lakers are on the verge of passing them. And the Clippers are right on their heels at this point right there. So it's going to be a stretch run to the finish, and it's going to be exciting. And now I would love to throw it to Greg to see what your superlatives are stretch run.
They are all good choices. And I want to emphasize that the question that Michael posed to us was from this point on.
Yep.
Because certainly I believe it's down to 2 players for the MVP, and that's SGA and Jokic. And I think SGA might win it because of Oklahoma City being in first. But I think, look out. The Bucks have been quiet all year long. I think Giannis right now is going to put it into another gear and see if Milwaukee can make another run. They won an NBA title just a few years ago. So look for Giannis to go crazy. Ty Lue, this is the guy who's going to have the Clippers moving up in the standings and certainly a serious contender to win the West. The stretch run sleeper rising, I think it could be the Warriors. I don't think they're done yet with the acquisition of Jimmy Butler. I don't think they have enough to win the West, but I think they can make some noise in the playoffs when you have the greatest shooter that's ever lived, and now you got Jimmy Buckets. The Warriors are going to be a little bit tougher out now for everybody.
And they're 3-1 since Jimmy got there.
3-1 since Jimmy got there. Thank you for that. And then the stretch run contender fading. I think it's the Lakers. Now, I still think they won the overall trade. Time will tell, in my opinion, though, with Doncic. But for this particular year, right now they have Jackson Hayes playing at center. They just acquired Alex Len, right? The deal with Charlotte fell through. I don't know what they got in the front court. I know what they got in the back court. They got 3 guys that are capable of scoring, but where's the defense coming from? I think the Lakers are going to fade a bit.
Okay. All right, so he's fading the Lakers. Jarvis, who do you have coming down the stretch?
Well, if you look at it, of course, SGA is way out in front of everybody right now, I think, for Player of the Year. And he just has to just play his average self in this last 28 games, this last stretch run, because they will, in my opinion, win the West regular season. And he is the best player on the best team in the league. They have the best record in the league. So I like what you said about Giannis, but I just don't think that it'll be enough to overcome that. My stretch run coach of the year, I agree with you, Ty Lue of the Clippers. Ty Lue is a good coach. He's been a good coach ever since his first outing. They kind of went a little bit, but he learned a lot from it, and now he is just a good coach. And now he's got the team that can put him over the top. That Clippers team is solid, front court. On the wings and in the backcourt. They play defense. James Harden can do whatever James Harden can do. They can throw. Zubats has really come on. We hope that one day Zach Edey might turn into a player like that. And I just think they have that. And then my stretch run contender that is fading, I'm going to go with the Mavs because they just got too many people hurt. And, losing Luka was huge. They've got some pieces still, but they don't have enough with all the injuries. That's my fader in the second half.
And great points by all. I mean, you guys have definitely laid that out. Basically, we saw diversity in all of these lists for the most part. And Ty Lue and what he's doing with the Clippers, both of you guys agreed on that. He is probably a top 5 coach. Well, not probably. He is a top 5 coach in the league, maybe a top 3 when you talk about what he's been able to do. And you're right. And it seems like SGA is just warming up. He recently had 3 50-point games over the course of 12 days, right? So, I mean, this guy.
He got to the line, 400 times during that stretch?
But he deserves it, man. He's playing like it, and he has that team playing like it as well, too. Before we take our next break, we're going to end this segment looking at the GrizzBeat Michael Wallace power poll right here. I'll run through it real quick.
Yeah, go ahead and put your name on it, bro.
Listen, hey, you guys can object. It's not, obviously it's not as unanimous as I'd like to think it is, but obviously the first 5 teams right there, first 4 teams, all stand packed. Thunder, Cavaliers, Celtics, and Knicks are in that order. The Nuggets have replaced the Grizzlies because of the way that they've gone into the break, winning 8 straight. They're right on the Grizzlies' heels, a half a game back right there. Memphis is at 6. They lost 2 out of their last 3 going into the break. The Lakers took a disappointing loss to they split with the Utah Jazz right after getting Luka. I don't understand why did they go up to Utah and lose to that team that's clearly tanking and not really doing anything. The Clippers, we saw them. The Pacers are the hottest team, as we talked about earlier, since January 1 at 14-5. And the Rockets are dropping steadily, like the temperatures in Memphis right now. So, we'll see if the Rockets can maintain their presence in our Grizz Week Power Poll. When we come back from the break, as we told you about earlier, a special Grizzlies player is going to receive or has received a special honoring. And he didn't go to All-Star Weekend, but he certainly went out of town and got the respect that he deserves for his career. You'll hear more about that when we come back on the other side of GrizzBeat.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping.
It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. We need just energy.
Yes. Back to Jerry for the flush. We're going to need, the form rocking. We're going to need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support.
When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bane 3. Yes, sir. Desmond Bane with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals takes it straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Alrighty, Grizz fam, enjoy a great night of music and Grizzlies basketball with Gospel Night featuring Grammy award-winning gospel artist Marvin Sapp. That's coming up Friday, February 28th, when your Memphis Grizzlies host the New York Knickerbockers. 7 o'clock is the tip-off time at FedEx Forum. Get the best deal for your church or youth group by calling 901-888-HOOP. That's 901-888-HOOP, or visiting grizzlies.com today. Marvin Sapp, Grammy, 3-time Grammy winner, 22 other kind of awards. It's just going to be a great night at FedEx Forum. Now, as we wrap up GrizzBeat here, we're going to take a look at the week ahead for the Memphis Grizzlies, and what a week it'll be. 4 games on tap, as you see, starting out Thursday night at the Indiana Pacers. The Grizz already have one up on Indiana, having beaten them, put 136 points on them here in Memphis back in December. Then it's at the Orlando Magic. That was the first team the Grizzlies played played at home. The Magic getting back healthy now. They got Paolo Banchero, and they got the Wagner boys back ready to go for them, so that's going to be tough. And then it will be the first meeting of the year against the Cleveland Cavaliers coming up on Sunday. The Cavs have been at the top or the top team in the East all year long. They've got a great club, and that's going to be a tough game. And then back home next Tuesday night against the Phoenix Suns. KD got 30,000 points, Kevin Durant, but the Grizzlies have done a pretty good job against the Suns this year. It'll be nice to come home and face a team that the Grizzlies have had a chance to put some home cooking on at home and on the road.
I want to see Edey challenge Jarrett Allen in Cleveland, but they also have Mobley, so they're so good. To play this team is going to be a big challenge. And then also I wonder in Orlando, Michael, if there will be a rest or two with a player because they'll be going back-to-back Indiana, Orlando.
Yeah, that's a good question right there. And you certainly have some guys that are working their way back. Obviously, when you talk about Vince Williams Jr. Coming back, Ja Morant, you want to see how you manage whatever he's going to be dealing with or what he has been dealing with. But you don't have a lot of time. Like, you're managing most of the season to get to this stretch. And do you value the number 2 seed? Do you want to drop down possibly? Because there's not going to be much difference between 4 and 5. But the difference is you lose home court advantage. The Grizzlies have the 3rd best home record, and they still have work to do. But you're absolutely right now, and they're in this stretch right now. They're in the middle of a stretch where 12 of 13 games are against teams with 500 or better records. 12 of 13. So you're playing these teams, including all 3 that are going to be on this road trip. Phoenix is going to be desperate when they come back here because it's either put up or shut up time for that Phoenix team in terms of trying to grab a play-in spot. But the Grizzlies, man, the intensity of this stretch run is going to be something that I look forward to covering and seeing, as I'm sure you guys are as well.
Well, let me ask you this question. You think there might be a chance that the Grizzlies would employ Marvin Bagley on one of these games since he is now a Memphis Grizzly? He is a big guy he was the number 2 pick in the draft that saw Jaren Jackson Jr. go number 4. He has talent. He has not lived up to the talent because of injuries or whatever, but he is on the Grizzlies roster now, and if you're going to take a look at him, this is the time to do it.
When you think about that draft, man, it's no disrespect to Marvin Bagley, but when you go back and look at that draft, Marvin Bagley went 2nd overall. The top 2 in that draft were DeAndre Ayton and Marvin Bagley, 2 guys that have not had the careers that you thought. Who went after him? Guys like Luka, Jaren Jackson Jr., Trae Young, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Draft was nuts.
Like, think about it, man. Like, if you redrafted that, the front end guys will be in the back, and the back end guys will be in the front. But to answer your question, I did have a chance to see him. He went through a shoot around and didn't do too much. He's nursing an ankle injury right now. They're trying to get him back in NBA shape so that he can have a chance to maybe be on that back end of the rotation a little bit close. Maybe he's probably about 2 to 3 weeks out from actually getting some real on-court time to do some big things.
Last thing before we go to a segment that you're really going to like. What is going to happen with Mr. Stand outside the three-point line and shoot that's sitting on the bench right now? I hadn't been able to get in a game, with the beard. And
Jay Huff?
love him, Jay Huff, that came in and was really, really hot, but now can't seem to get in the rotation. Greg Gaston, what do you think?
I don't know. It's a numbers game, right? I mean, you can only play so many players, and Taylor goes really deep with his rotation. Jay, when he's gotten his number called, he's come in and he's contributed. That guy has
you either
really
know
taken
right
a lead.
away, either he's got it or he doesn't.
Absolutely.
So, either the shot's dropping or he gets beat defensively down low or out physicaled or something, but you know right away. So I'm saying, I don't know if you throw him out there and give him a chance to do a little something when you need to break it up.
It depends on the matchup, right?
Yeah,
Depends on the matchup. Frank.
No, it does depend on the matchup, but you can't put him out there without taking someone off the court. So who are you taking off the court? Like you're not taking Jaren off, right? Jaren is getting his minutes. BC has been productive.
He
doesn't play enough.
Yeah.
Like if there's anybody I wish I can grandfather some more minutes to, it would be BC. But I can understand why BC comes sort of behind because Santi is doing a great job for the most part. He trailed off a little bit from his earlier season pace, but Santi's there, BC's there, Jaren's there, and you still want to. You can't either. You're going to ask questions about why Zach Edey isn't playing, or you're going to ask questions about why Jay Huff or some of these other guys aren't playing. But that's going to be as the rotation tightens. And now Gigi is playing some minutes at the 4 as well too. So you're getting smaller and you're shrinking a little bit more. And some guys are going to be left out. And unfortunately, Huff is that guy.
And if Bagley does end up playing, that's another guy that would be ahead of him.
But he's going to have to beat somebody out.
No
right?
question.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
Well, it's the embarrassment of riches as far as the Grizzlies are concerned on that. And speaking of embarrassment of riches, the Grizzlies have one of the best shooters in the NBA in Desmond Bane, and he was also a great shooter in college at TCU. And his alma mater is doing a special thing. They are retiring his jersey, and here's a little bit about what that's all about.
Childhood is one of the most important times of your life. Having somebody there that's stable and loving and caring does wonders for a kid and for what they can accomplish later in life. You know, I think that support system is huge. That's what makes up kids' dreams, backbones, and ultimately propels them into their futures. My name is Desmond Bane. I'm a graduate of TCU in the class of 2020. I got my degree in youth advocacy, and now I play a little basketball for the Memphis Grizzlies. Growing up in Richmond, Indiana, I had a huge support system. It started with my great-grandparents who raised me, but it wasn't just my family. You know, obviously my coaches, Josh Juergens and John Blevins, were huge in my life. From a mentorship standpoint, helped me turn into a young man and given me the freedom and the belief that I could be as good of a person and basketball player as I wanted to be. At TCU, I majored in youth advocacy, and I chose that major just because of my love for my community and my love for kids who are in the same position that I was in growing up. Where I come from, a small town, we don't get a chance to see too many people who play Division I basketball, who got a chance to play in the league, or doing super successful things. So I just wanted to be that light and that guidance for them.
There's an old saying that it takes a village, and Desmond has a big family and a lot of people that have their arms around him, literally and figuratively. And you know, you could tell how much that meant to him and how much he appreciated them. And he went out of his way to show them how much he appreciated them. And I think it's really neat and fitting that that's what he wants to do going forward.
The platform that I have here in the NBA is a unique position. You know, we play on a national scale, national TV. I got an opportunity to travel and do basketball camps, you know, in the summer and really give back, you know, whether it's a backpack drive or just, you know, seeing kids and giving them my all, never being too big for the moment. Being able to send kids to school with a full backpack is something that you can't put a price on. I mean, a lot of these kids wouldn't have those materials come the first day of school if it wasn't for, you know, an event like the one that we had. And just being able to make sure that they have the baseline and adequate resources to be able to focus on school and not have to worry whether or not they, you know, have enough materials to complete the task at hand.
Desmond always seems to find the right example, the right mentor. And I think that's why he wants to be that person going forward. And you know, he found the perfect degree plan for him in child advocacy with Dr. Savage over in the education department. You know, I remember talking to him about that, and it just kind of fit what he wanted to do and what he wanted to be. And
I feel like making an impact for the greater good starts as soon as you wake up every morning. Putting your best foot forward is the first place that you got to start. Being a kind-hearted person and letting your spirit do the talking, I think really spreads love and spreads change for everyone around.
And congratulations to Desmond Bane for getting his jersey retired. And they said his arms were too short. He was the 30th overall pick, the last pick of the first round by the Memphis Grizzlies. And you see what he has become, one of the best shooters in the league. And the Grizz will really count on him down the stretch. The stretch run gets underway coming up Thursday night for the Grizzlies. They will be at the Indiana Pacers back in Desmond's old stomping grounds. He's from Indiana. He'll have a big contingent on hand. And you know, we know you'll be watching that game, and you'll join us back here next Wednesday for another edition of GrizzBeat. We will see you then.
That's game. Thanks for running with us for another episode of GrizzBeat. Join us each Wednesday at Grind City Media for all the latest insight and analysis on the Grizzlies.